What up, nerds, and welcome to another anthropological episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 538, recorded on Monday, July 28th, 2025. Tonight, we're talking about Rand Diesel's host pick. The movie is Kwaidan from 1964. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy, Rand Diesel. What's up?
What's up, baby?
Ooh,
you ready to talk about some fucking anthropological shit, to use your word?
Hell yes. You're the man of the hour. Your bumps know it, too, because there's no lag. Unbelievable.
I know. They came to play tonight, you know? They came here to play.
Oh, yeah. We're here to play, baby. We're here. Speaking of boys that are certainly here to play, last but not least, calling in from Seoul, South Korea, we got your boy, Soju. What's up?
Oh, what up? It's your boy, Okada Stains. Bob, you've been to Japan. You know all the language and culture and everything, right? You're going to shed some knowledge on us tonight, right?
I was there for a whole week, so I know
you picked up a lot in that week, didn't you?
So much.
I need you to break down the origins of Shinto and then tell me about your sexy figurines that you collect now. The two things.
Bob, who's your waifu?
Who's your waifu? Rand Diesel's my waifu.
Rob's waifu is a sweet lady blue. I think we all know that.
My baby blue. Waifu. Rand Diesel, it's your pick. Before we get into it and your reasons for choosing it, let's tackle just a little bit of housekeeping real quick on our end here. Here's your final reminder. We do have our August poll currently posted over on our Patreon website. If you guys support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this August. The theme for August is deep cuts. You got 3 movies to vote on, and they are The Empty Man, Kill List, and Orca.
Whoa, Bob, rounding it out. By the time this comes out, this poll will be wrapping up. What do the numbers look like heading into August?
Just another month set on fire, just ablaze. Slight change in numbers, nothing crazy. Kill List still last at 24% of the vote. The Empty Man sitting in second place with 32% of the vote. And Orca scooched up just a little bit with 44% of the vote.
All right. Looks like Orca's going to be closing out the summer for us.
Looks like
We're going to announce the next poll since it's coming out tomorrow, or are we going to hold on to that? Keep it a secret.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down if you guys are. If you want to go ahead and roll it out.
Don't you
it's like tomorrow.
Dare. Go for it. That's fine.
Yeah. So our September poll.
September?
I know. It's going to be dropping August 1st over on Patreon. The theme for the September poll is War on Satan.
There is a clear
evil. There's a war.
War on Satan.
There's a war on Satan. And we're going to do something about it.
Give the guy a break.
Bob, what movies did we pick for that poll?
We're putting Satan back in September. We got 3 demonic-ass movies for you to vote on. Those movies are
where he belongs.
Where he belongs in the month of September.
Yeah, famously.
Satan Observance Month. We got 3 movies. They are Black Sabbath, Needful Things, and Trick or Treat. Not Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat, not Trick or
Trick or
treat.
If you would rather, Treat.
What year is that from, Bob? Trick or Treat? Does it say on the little list there?
Yeah, it's from 1986, I believe.
All right, just so people are clear on what we're doing there.
Yeah, there's a lot of Trick or Treat.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there. We gotta make sure it's
it's
make sure it's the right one.
It's the heavy metal horror movie, Halloween horror movie. So
whoa.
Yeah.
We're going metal heavy, I guess, in September. Old Black Sabbath and Black Sabbath is the documentary, I assume, on the band coming up in that.
You are exactly correct.
Yeah, I thought Bob froze. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm here. I'm just
there.
looking
Cool,
like a
cool.
You in the
shit.
headlights.
All right. Well, I'm excited to head into spooky season, boys.
I know. We're doing it. We're rolling it
go.
out. Get those
Here we
votes
go.
in.
It's
We'll see
almost-
what movies we're talking about this August and this September. In other Patreon news, we're dropping mini-casts every other Friday. Dropping this Friday, August 1st. We got a real heater for your
Oh,
ear
yeah.
holes. Your boy, me, is going to be talking about Jurassic World Rebirth.
Okay, Bob. Whoa, that's
Is that
big
that's the
ticket
entirety of
item for the
recording,
summer,
right?
huh?
Yeah, it's
That was the heater to which you referred.
the heater in your pants.
Whoa.
Mhm.
The fart rocket.
Mm.
Jurassic World Rebirth. Yeah. Do I love it?
How hard is it to make a movie about dinosaurs and just make it cool? I mean, come on
Apparently,
now.
it's very
Apparently, it's impossible.
difficult.
Oh, you just wait until they come out with Jurassic World Afterbirth. You're going to be eating those words.
God.
I swear.
God damn.
God. So check that out over on Patreon, dropping this Friday, August 1st. Also, this Friday, we're going to be doing a Joe Bob watch party. It's going to be happening at 9 Eastern. He's doing a double feature per usual, first Friday of every month. And I believe this Friday is going to be a double feature of aquatic horror movies. So if you want to join in, I'll post a link to do so on all of our social medias just before 9 p.m. Eastern this Friday, coming out with us.
Dope.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all I got. You guys have anything you want to plug?
I don't have a goddamn thing. Juice?
Well, I will fulfill my contractual obligations by mentioning once again that I have a sister podcast called Don't Believe the Hype. This week, we are talking about a song called Why'd You Only Call Me When You're High? The 9th track off of the Arctic Monkeys album AM. So check that out this week.
It's a long
It's another-
song title.
It's a long song title. Yes, it is. Yep. So, but yeah, that's all. That's all I got.
Should we have made you sign a contract to be on this show?
Is that how this works?
Well,
Did
see,
we
Randy, I
fuck
don't
up?
have a contract. Okay, we're close.
Oh.
Have y'all watched?
No.
Have y'all watched Mad Men? That's
No.
Oh, never mind then.
Nope.
Okay.
You can trust
Someone
me.
out there just
That's a big
someone out
Mad
there
Men
just
moment.
knee slapped though. I'm sure
I'm your
they
uncle.
just pointed at the
Juice.
screen.
You
Leo
know me.
point.
You know,
You know me,
You know
Juice.
me.
It's your old buddy,
It's
Juice.
your boy.
Your old Uncle
Your-
Soju stains.
Your boy.
I don't have a contract.
Your
Okay,
boy,
yeah.
me.
Your boy. Me. I think our house is squeaky clean.
All right, let's get it.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking about Kwaidan, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Whoa, Bob, you had this box. I saw it. Was it that Criterion box?
Oh yeah, got the Criterion
Oh, yeah.
disc.
Randy's got that box too, don't you, Randy? You've had that one for a hot minute now.
Close. I have the DVD edition because before
It's about
I owned a
so
Blu-ray
long
player,
ago.
I purchased it.
Nice.
Yes.
Freshly released DVD.
Yeah. And hence why I chose this particular film, because I did not want to see myself turn into the Blu-ray
that Bob
werewolf
is.
that Rob is. So I needed to burn through something I hadn't seen before, and this was sitting right there.
How many unwatched DVDs you think you got left, Randy?
Like 5 or 6 probably. Honestly,
we're
I don't.
getting close.
My collection is probably like 40 discs of things. Like,
Whoa, coming a regular
yeah.
Bob over there.
Oh yeah, I know.
Bob, those
Basically,
numbers
Look,
are rookie numbers.
Rob has
there.
like 40 times, I don't know, 2 back there, something like that.
At least double that, at least.
give or take.
I mean, it's probably close to 50.
Where did Bob go wrong? Worrying his friends, sifting way too long through those Blu-ray bins, and it gets worse. He'll have no chance. He wasted all his dough on those DVDs.
Ah, yes.
You know what we should do? We should do a raffle and have people guess, looking at the behind the scenes video, of how many blues Bob has, and Bob will count them all up, and whoever's closest, will give a special.
Rob has to keep his job. He doesn't have time to count them,
and he'll mail out whatever we're raffling. And
Bob will count all the blues.
He'll count them all.
Keep
Rob,
track.
You just got to take yourself a solid week off of work so you have the time to do the task.
It's a great idea. Bob loves it. Clearly.
Bob, how often do you do the counting over there? Do you keep up with all the blue numbers?
I do not count. We don't. We don't have those numbers available. They're not. They're not
have
on
to get
record.
Those numbers.
No,
they say you don't have a problem until you stop counting.
Well, brother, let me tell you. All right, we're talking about Kwaidan. Yeah, this is you can buy this Criterion disc very easily. You can also stream this movie. It's super easy to hunt down. If you want to watch it, do so. This is from 1964. Not rated, with a runtime of 3 hours and 3 minutes. And this was directed by Masaki Kobayashi. This was written by Yoko Mizuku. And basically, all four of these vignettes are based on short stories that were from Lafcadio Hearn's books from the early 1900s. We'll talk a little bit about that in trivia. And this stars so many wonderful people that I just don't want to butcher all of their names. So you should check out the IMDb page. Thank you for playing me out, Randy. So yeah, this is just an anthology, collection of 4 Japanese folktales. They're all basically different types of ghost stories, and they're based on legit ancient Japanese folklore that was originally told verbally, and then Lafcadio Hearn traveled to Japan and tried to collect all these stories and write them down in English, and exposed all of us over here in the West to them. So there you go.
He exposed himself to me.
Just to old Uncle Soju. Just
well, I mean,
yeah. So I mean, I think
I've always been a creeper.
Randy already answered this question. But boys, have we seen this movie before? And would you recommend folks at home check it out? Rand Diesel, kick us off.
Yeah, first time watch for me. I think that I would definitely give this a recommend, but under some pretty big asterisks. This is not a film to go into looking for a rip-roaring good thriller-ass time. This is a nice, slow-moving situation, and it reminds me of something you might watch in an anthropology class or something. Like it's folk tales, and it definitely feels like that. You might also watch this in a film class because it's got like some real fucking pedigree in terms of like filmmaking, aesthetics and things like that. But yeah, this is not like a big popcorn movie or anything like that. You want to sit down with intentionality here, which is a mistake I did not follow that advice. I was dog fucking tired when I started watching this movie.
Oh boy.
It made it a struggle.
Like 3 hours left to go.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's a fucking long one.
Randy.
Yeah. So yes, with qualifiers to
All
the
right.
recommendation.
Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I had seen this before probably about 4 years ago now. And yeah, I would recommend people check this out. I think it's like a classic staple Japanese horror film. However, I would say that since it's an oh my God, now anthropology is stuck in my mind. Anthology,
Yeah, right.
Jesus Christ. Now that
It's an anthropology.
since it's an anthology, I would say that you could probably just watch the first 2 at first. It's about an hour and a half, and then maybe take a break and you can come back later to like the second half. I think watching the full 3 hours straight through is a pretty tough ask for most people. Not impossible, of course, but I think that might be just
Impossible.
a more enjoyable situation. But yeah, I would recommend people check this out. It's really cool. Bob, how about you? Would you recommend people check this out? That should play anytime I enter a room. Bum, bum,
Oh yeah, the sound of your people.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that
Totally.
would go over real well to everyone.
Yeah,
bang.
nothing wrong here. Yeah, this is the first.
Soju has entered the
Oh
room.
my God, first time watch for me. Similar to Rand Diesel here, and yeah, I totally recommend watching this. Really enjoyed it.
I'm the only experienced boy here.
But
Huh?
is experienced boy, yes.
That's such an unfortunate way of phrasing
Really
that
is. Old Uncle Soju's at it again. Really did enjoy this. Recommend it for sure. But like you guys have explained already, it's a bit long in the tooth. So
As they say,
as
the phrase goes,
as the French say, long in the tooth.
We don't even have command of the English language over here. What the fuck are we doing?
So yeah, just go into it knowing what you're sitting down for. But yeah, definitely check it out. That sounds like a pretty hearty recommendation with maybe some qualifiers from the Straight Chilling crew. We're going to be spoiling the shit out of Kwaidan, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
All right, Bob. So we got some plot synopses here to go through. We're going to go one by one. So starting with the first little story, what's the plot synopsis for that one?
So yeah, the first vignette here is called The Black Hair. And in The Black Hair, we see a poor samurai living in Kyoto. He ends up leaving.
Big black hair of time, you say.
That's what I said. Yes.
The long black hair of time.
The samurai ends up leaving his wife.
Long, girthy black hair of time.
He leaves his wife for a wealthier woman of status. He ends up taking on a new post, and he enjoys the wealth that he always wanted. However, his new wife is cold and callous, which causes him to long for his first wife. His new wife clearly doesn't take very kindly to this information, and she's even more infuriated when he decides to leave and return to Kyoto. As soon as he arrives to Kyoto, he visits his first wife back at their old house, which seems mostly unchanged. His wife welcomes him back and is extremely forgiving. She ominously says they must enjoy this brief moment together. The next morning, the samurai awakes to find the house is falling apart all around him. He also finds his wife's extremely decayed corpse, insinuating that she's probably been dead for a long time. Yeah. However, her long black hair remains untouched. When the hair inexplicably attacks him, he runs throughout the house and begins aging very rapidly. When he finally escapes the house, he's an elderly man and the hair wraps around his face in a freeze frame. Spooky.
So I will say,
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I will say, several years removed from this movie, this one is probably the one I remember most in detail, and it's kind of stuck with me. And it kind of, you know what? It kind of reminds me of like those kind of kid story, like the girl with the ribbon around her neck, and you remove it, and like her head falls off. Whatever you like that. Just you don't know that, Randy?
I don't know that. No, I've never heard that.
Really? That's from like those kid. You know what I'm talking about, right, Bob?
I don't know what that's from, but yeah, I know what you're talking. Like I know the story. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, it reminds me of this like really just iconic, like kind of kids story, folk tale or whatever horse show. They just like sticks out. Like the ending really stuck out to me in my mind of just like remembering always what happened to this guy and just kind of the overall story. So this is definitely like one of my favorite ones, and I think it's got maybe some emotional heart to it that maybe some of the other ones lack a little bit, that just I don't know, has always kind of stuck around to me, like the house decaying, like it's slow, like moving through because he's like longing through his wife, but I feel like the ending is like just a really good payoff.
Yeah, this is my favorite of the four, and it's sort of for a few different reasons. I think it does, the long black hair is something that we've seen in a lot of Japanese horror movies that some that we have reviewed on the show, some we haven't, but it does seem like a pretty common theme. And I like that we get to see this like old folk tale, like where it's just kind of always been associated with like ghosts and like Japanese folklore and stuff. I think that's just like really, really cool. that it's just evolved, over time. And yeah, I love the idea of this man, like essentially realizing that he wasted, I don't really know how many years or how much time he's with his second wife, but he's wasted all this time and he got everything he wanted and he realized he's not happy and he already had everything that he wanted. He just didn't realize it. And he's wasted all this time. And then he goes back and like his wife is so understanding and you're like, oh, well, they're going to live happily ever after. But then it takes the horror turn, right? And he experiences the rest of his life in a matter of moments. Like he wastes his entire life in like just a matter of moments as he's like trying to escape this house. It's just like that's fucking horrific to me, man. Just like your whole life gone in an instant. It's freaky shit.
Oh, I mean, not quite an instant. That's the thing. Is it's like it's just drawn on enough to you see the bottom coming up at you. You're like, okay, well, I am deteriorating at a rapid rate.
Yeah, he almost looks like a
the
skeleton
Brundlefly thing
at the end. Yeah, just very similar. Yeah, actually, in theme.
But yeah, I really like this one out of the bunch because it was a little hard for me like getting into it because I wasn't sure what I was getting into with this movie. Right, like I don't remember even what impulse led me to buy this other than maybe I thought it was a cool cover or whatever. Like I was just trying to like try, some international film, I think. And I went for it. So I had very little basis of knowledge of what this movie would actually be. And aside from the fact that I kind of knew it was folklore-esque or adjacent, that was it. Watching this, like, and there was a little bit of a learning curve for the language of this movie, especially with the audio is concerned. Where I thought things were like, I thought the disc was fucked up a couple times. I was like, because this movie really goes like dead fucking silent for long stretches. Yeah. And I just wasn't really prepared for that. And I think that like that's clearly an intentional thing that the filmmakers are doing. But it took me a while to come along to that. But anyway, like that said, once I sort of got through that hurdle and got to the end point of this really is like a true, like straightforward, pretty universal and easy to understand folktale that I think there's probably like it feels like a variation on the same story we've seen play out in every the lexicon of every culture that you can find. This is a man seeks riches over family or prioritizes riches over his family or love or whatever and pays the ultimate price after, basically desecrating the idea of the people that care about him or whatever, some variation thereof. And it works really nicely on that level. It's not terrifically like stupendously deep on any particular level, which I guess makes it feel more like a children's tale, as you guys pointed out. But I wasn't really taking it that way. So I was kind of like digging around like, man, is that all there is to it? I mean, I think it's cool, but it's like, it's nice that it's universal, and I feel like I'm like, okay, this is something I can understand even from my position in the year 2025 in America. But I was like, is there something I'm missing to this or whatever? But I'm glad you guys kind of laid it out that way because I didn't really understand that to be the case, that it was like universal and sort of like universal in age appropriateness as well, if that makes sense. Like it's a family oriented, anybody can access this.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good because I think it works in like both levels too, because, as you said, it's kind of like a basic morality type of tale, like, oh, don't choose riches over love or, something like that for teaching kids. But at the same time, too, I don't know. One of the reasons like this time around, I knew it was coming. I was like really anticipating. I was kind of like looking forward to it because it had stuck in my mind so distinctly from the first time I watched it. And, this time, one of the things that like really stuck out to me that I remember is for some reason I was thinking about that Anthony Bourdain documentary about how he had like this first wife who he like really loved and was like close with. And as he became more famous, like they became more like detached and stuff like that. And then he like had a second wife who he also again like really loved and then like had a child with. It was like really, and like ultimately like things didn't work out. I just kept thinking about this like idea of like, I feel like this can be a very relatable type of tale. And I don't know. Yeah. The way that the wife kind of like welcomes him back and she's there, like still her life hasn't moved on, and it's all like this focus on him, and like, oh, I'm so glad that you came back, and you're like, man, what a sad thing, but also too, like, oh man, like she like really loves him, and you can kind of like feel that in your soul, of like your human soul or whatever. And then to like wake up, and I love the reveal too of like how the house is coming apart, like he had this memory. It's almost like that idea of like chasing ghosts, of like going back to places that you used to know and that used to mean something to you, and then expecting it to be the same, but it's like, and in his mind's eye, like it is the same, and he can't cope with the idea that like his wife is really dead, or that the house is like still there, completely like destroyed by nature, and like it's not a warm house anymore, and there is no more love there, and it like sucks his soul away. It's like, damn, that shit hits hard, man.
Yeah. You could definitely read this as like a Session 9 sort of deal, or like there's a million films that do this sort of thing where it's the perception, what you're shown as an audience is just how the character's experiencing, not the reality of that character's situation. I mean, that's pretty common. Like Brazil, like millions of movies do this sort of thing, and it's one of the better storytelling methods for cinema, because it's easy to fool the audience in that way.
Yeah, pull the
and
rug,
I don't know, I really like that about it. I think that I don't know that this one's like my favorite of the bunch or anything like that, but I do think that like it was probably the best one to start things off for me. Like it was, if I had started with like Hoichi or something, I would have been way in over my fucking head, I think.
You gotta ease the white man into it.
Well, there's a couple things too. I think it gets better in other ones, but like I love, when they're like, oh, we're in Kyoto, and you have the layers, like they create this real depth where they have these like trees, but in the background you see the iconic, kind of giant pagoda or whatever that is in Kyoto, and it's in the background, and he leaves and he comes back to it. But I mean, I thought it was like just very interesting from a cultural standpoint too. He goes, and they do a pretty good job of explaining just the general concept. He's like, you need to go marry somebody else, so I can't take care of you, and I'm gonna go pledge myself like to this lord, and he can't come back because he's like an indentured kind of or like he's got a contract or whatever, and he's working there, and like he's just there, and he gives it all. He has that taste of like the comfortable life. He's shooting the arrows, he's living in society. It just like means nothing to him. It like he just leaves him cold and kind of callous. And then his wife, he talks about his wife's like not really that bad. She's just like,
no, she's not bad at all.
She's not bad at all, actually. Yeah, she's just coming in, she's like, you son of a bitch, like you need to treat me like a wife, so. But the black teeth too, dude, that shit freaks me out. That shit really freaks me out when they got the black teeth.
Do you know? I didn't really like know what that meant or what it was, or but freaky.
You still don't know what it is? Well, it was common. So back in the day too, because especially when you see like the makeups, like people say like geisha, but it was just like the common thing of like the time to do the really white pale makeup, right? And that was like the beauty standard. That was the makeup style of the time, to like mimic like pure white type of skin. But the problem is back then it's like they didn't have like very good dental hygiene, so when you would paint your skin white, then your teeth would be even more noticeably yellow, which was seen as like very unattractive. So like to create a like direct contrast against that, they would literally just paint them black to like kind of compensate for that or whatever. So I know it seems like a weird aspect of it, but that's like, that was the reasoning behind it.
Cool. Sounds tasty.
Yeah, I don't know what they would use to actually make them black, but it freaks me out.
Speaking of that sort of thing, like I don't know, like there's an element, and this is again probably something of not universal, but pretty broadly applicable thing is the women in this tale in particular are very much like treated like women in the society. You know what I mean? Like this is his first wife, his second wife, like you said, is not bad at all. She's just like disappointed that her husband doesn't give a shit about her or the life that he's been provided or any of that stuff.
He used her
his
like
first
to
wife,
raise up in society.
Yeah, like the first wife, like he's regretful and he tells her how much he regrets leaving and all this stuff or whatever, but he's just fucking like callously as shit left her behind to rot. And like when she comes back, like when he comes back, she is like immediately like, I don't care, I forgive you or whatever. And it's like this thing where it's like, just to paint her as like extra good, because that's what the best woman would do, is forgive you of all of your fuck ups and then accept you back instantly, which I would be very upset with if they didn't do the eventual rug pull, because it's like,
and she's
fucking annoying, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but that's the tale.
So this is part of the comeuppance. It's not just like what's expected of a woman at the time, which it kind of is, I guess. But like, I don't know, it subverts that, or it gives comeuppance for that.
Joke's on you. You made out with a corpse.
Yeah.
God, his ass.
Enjoy the hairball.
You got punked.
But no, yeah, even that concept too, like waking up, and because I think it makes it so good because it makes that moment like so tender, like he's back in the bedroom and like, oh, it's like this sweetness, and he's so relieved, and all this worry and anxiety that he's had like leading up to this, it's all washes away. And then, and she
Only
even kind of says, oh, we have this short moment together, and it's kind of ominous, and you're like, oh, what's, but he's so wrapped up in it, and he wakes up and she's fucking rotting, and she rots away really fast too. Man, it's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It's fucked up too. You guys want to move on to the second one?
But yeah, I like this one a lot too, Bob.
Solid shit. So yeah, the second vignette is called "The Woman of the Snow." And in that, we see two woodcutters take shelter in a boatman's house during an awful snowstorm. A spirit appears and blows her cold breath onto the older woodcutter, killing him. She ends up sparing the younger one. His name is Minokichi, because he's just so much younger, and it'd be a shame to kill him. But she says if he ever tells anybody what he's seen, she will find him and kill him. Sometime later, the young man's cutting wood and meets a beautiful young woman named Yuki on her way to Edo. She stays the night at his place with his mother as well, and the two end up falling in love, and they have 3 kids together. Over the years, Yuki never seems to age, and one day, Minokichi makes her a pair of red sandals. He's then suddenly reminded of the spirit he saw many years ago, and he tells Yuki the story he swore he would never tell. She then turns into the spirit, and a snowstorm comes over their house. She decides to spare his life once again solely out of love for their children. However, she says if the children ever have a reason to complain about their father, she will return and kill his ass. She leaves heartbroken Minokichi, leaves the sandals that he made for her out in the snow, and they vanish. That's it.
Yeah, this one might be my favorite, and I'll tell you, I would say at least 50-60% the visuals, maybe more. I mean, like, the visuals in this one are so striking. Like the way that they built these sets, and also knowing its age, like it does, like you can kind of see. I know what kind of things they're doing to create some of these things. Like I can see the strings, as it were, but it supersedes that. It's just like so beautiful the way the lighting operates in this. Whenever the turn from I don't know, from the wife back to the woman of the snow. I can't remember their names, but the shift of the light and everything that happens with the visuals in the room, it just turns the entire room into a different space. It changes the mood of everything so beautifully. I really, really love the way these things look. And then there's like what's in your background here on Zoom here, Juice, like the snowy scapes, or like the beautiful like landscapes or whatever, with an eyeball like skyline. It's very surreal. I love that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
this is one that's cool. Like, I feel like the first one's like very relatable and understandable. Even if you don't know that particular tale, you're like, yeah.
Mhm.
But this is one that's really cool because it's kind of like unique in its style. Like, a ghost in the woods or, or a spirit in the woods. That's not so unique. But the way it all kind of plays out is unique. She falls in love with this young, handsome man. She disguises herself and, marries him or whatever. And this one also has like an emotional kind of heart too. I don't think it packs quite a punch for me in the first one because I didn't see, what the guy did as like. There's not a clear wrong here to me.
I don't know what
like,
the transgression really
he's,
is.
In his mind, he's speaking to his loving wife, who he shares things with, who he is obviously in love with. He's like making her the sandals, and they're sharing a good time about the new year coming up and stuff like that. So there's not this like clear transgression or whatever, but it's still quite heartbreaking that you see them come up and the kids, and she takes them like to grandma's grave, and you see her spending time like with his mom and stuff like that. And it's like really this almost like you had it all, all the things that the first guy we saw in the first little short, could have had, or whatever, always like kind of doing the right thing, and then it all just falls apart of this one kind of simple mistake. It's like, damn, but it is so beautiful to look at.
It's like the morality, the point of the morality tale or the folk story is just snitches get stitches.
Baby.
Like you tell it to your kid and you're like, and that's why
babies.
when I tell you not to say shit, you better not say shit.
Well,
is it
I
like
almost saw
just
it as
keeping
more
your
like
word?
I actually almost saw it the second time around as more like the fragility of happiness, of like just this. I mean, there's not even this big thing that comes down where it's not some storm that takes somebody away or some, huge transgression. It's just like this, just this. You don't even think about it, but then like your entire life is gone, like all the things that kind of like, brought you happiness or whatever. So I just kind of took it as that, like, fragility of life or happiness or something like that.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. Metaphorically was like, to me, I think that's the simplest answer is the one that I veer towards, which is that it's just like you made a promise, you went back on your word. So, this is about your honor and keeping your honor and maintaining that so that you can maintain the happiness of your life. But that said, like the actual nuts and bolts, like the internal logic of this story is very like dream logic-y to the point where I don't understand it. Like to where like it that, like you said, it feels like I don't feel like he did a whole lot wrong. Like he was his friend got murdered and he was threatened not to say anything basically, or else he will be murdered too. And then she fell in love with him, had kids with him, and loved him so much that she didn't kill him, but threatened him again. So, like, what is her deal? I just don't understand what her impulse.
Yeah, she's
but
evil spirit.
I guess it's just unknowable spirit. But is she an evil spirit? Because she's like great to him, and like the kids seem normal. Like I don't know. And then I also don't really understand what the significance of the slippers are exactly.
Oh, that's because your boy Minokichi, he's a foot guy.
Yeah.
Well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Dude, as soon as he sees those feet, he pops that boner.
That's the sound of the boner.
And then they go out in the field and bang. It's like,
yeah, we got some yabos here.
Whoa, some evil spirit yabos.
Woo.
They'll get
That's
you.
kind.
They'll get you every time.
They'll get you.
They'll get you.
I don't know.
But no, you're right, right? And the visuals too, because they do a lot too with like the blues and stuff. But it's not just the blues. Like they do some like kind of sunset paintings, the reds, and I like sometimes when they do the sea, the fake sea. It's got a boat on it, and the skies are so huge. This one,
and you can see the paint
visually is definitely the best.
I think so. It's like the blue in contrast to it's like a sunset versus night, like the way that it's shot, but it changes on a dime and it does it like in camera. Like they do it on the set and it looks just fucking gorgeous in both modes. And it really sells like the emotional switch without having to say anything.
Yeah.
Which I don't know, like you could call that like an easy trick now, but like I feel like watching it in this context where we're being doled out this sort of like very minimal true information, and we're like trying to parse, or I'm trying to parse what these characters' aims are, specifically the ghost. It makes it more mysterious, but it gives a clear indication of what I should be feeling. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
It could also be an aspect of like, don't test or cheat the spirits, because I do know like in like throughout places in Japan, even like when you go out in the forest, they'll have these like tiny like little kind of like shrines to like certain like spirits of the area or whatever. And I think there is just a general like more kind of like respect or thought process that goes into that. At least like there used to be a lot more like significantly. And so, but even here, like Korea, you'll have like certain like the certain mountain gods and stuff like that, like areas, and people like have little shrines to them, and they'll pay like little tributes when they're hiking in the area or when they're doing things in the area. So it could also just be like a like a respect for the spirits or whatever. Like, don't cheat them, and like don't tread on them, bro. That's from the Americas.
Don't tread on them.
Don't
bro.
tread on them.
That's an old ancient Japanese proverb.
The like sort of all-seeing eye in the sky is, I don't know if it's meant to be specifically like the snow spirit, but like the spirits are always watching you. They're like, they've got their eye on you, so you better, cross your T's and dot your I's and, do right.
It's Santa Claus.
Yeah, or you're going to get put on the naughty list and you're not going to get shit for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
This one in particular feels very much like a stage play, though, the way they build the sets, and they have the big matte paintings and the boats and all that stuff. And I really like that, because this obviously these tales are like super, super old, and this movie's relatively old as well. So it's got this sort of like historical weight to it. And I think this looking like a stage play almost adds to that feeling of like historical weight. I don't know. It just like sort of, I think that stylistic choice really does make a lot of sense for these shorts in this. So I don't know, this one like really drove that home.
I think that's true. And also like I just love it because it also feels like classic Hollywood. Like I thought about Wizard of Oz more than once during specifically this segment, because of the way the sets are built, because of the way the lighting works, because of the way they shift lighting. Like that same thing, like it's black and white to color. You know what I mean? It's a real visceral, intentionally noticeable shift to guide the viewer into what mode they should feel, like emotional guidance, rather than letting the story, rather than the story itself guiding you, the just the setting, the place setting. I don't know. I really love that. It just felt like really solid classic film work. I just really liked it.
Yeah. So after that one, there's like actually a very, very brief intermission. So you're around an hour 20, an hour 30 at this point.
It's about halfway. Yeah.
Yeah. About halfway through the movie. So the third story is the longest one. It's like an hour and 15-ish. So like almost a feature length film. It's like pretty close to it. It's called Hoichi the Earless, and in this story, we see a young blind man named Hoichi, who's a very talented biwa player. Who it's like a stringed lute looking instrument. There you go. And he's living in a temple. He's known for chanting the tale of the battle between the Heike and the Genji clans, which was an epic battle at sea, resulting in the Heike's defeat. The Heike's emperor was an infant at the time, and when his clan realized their defeat was imminent, they took their emperor and jumped into the sea, committing suicide. One night, Hoichi is visited by a spectral samurai who says his lord wishes to hear him play the tale of the Heike. He is taken to a mysterious court and doesn't return home until morning. The other temple attendants notice he's gone all night, but Hoichi refuses to tell him where he's been. The samurai returns the next night, and Hoichi again agrees to go with him. This continues every night until Hoichi begins to look sickly. One night he goes out in a terrible storm, and the other attendants go after him for fear of his safety. They follow him to the court and interrupt his performance for all the ghost samurai, and they drag him back home. Hoichi finally explains what he's been doing, and the priest says he's in danger They cover his entire body in the Heart Sutra to protect him from the samurai, who is most certainly going to come the following night. The priest instructs him not to move or make any noise at all, and he will be safe. The samurai returns but cannot see Hoichi due to the protective Heart Sutra covering his entire body except for his ears. The samurai decides, well, his ears must be the only thing left of him, so he's going to take those ears back to the court as proof that he carried out his duty. So he grabs hold of Hoichi's ears and he rips them off. Hoichi very endures the pain and has to like not make any noise, and it's like really excruciating, terrible to watch. The samurai leaves, never to return again. The tale of Hoichi then spreads across the land, and many lords come to hear him play his biwa, which then leads to great fortune for young Hoichi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
can I-
might be my least favorite one.
I kind of feel that way too. Maybe the second half of this, I think in general is lesser to me. Like
Yeah.
what I like about this one is the front end. Like I really liked the battle scenes
Battle
or
at
whatever.
sea,
Just
that
like
was cool.
again, it was just cool to watch, like the way it was set up or whatever. At any time that those characters were on screen, even in the latter half of this, where they were in the graveyard or whatever, and their costumes were changing and their setting was changing, and they had the floating flaming tennis balls flying around the spirits or whatever. Like, I really liked all of that visual play or whatever. I just don't understand. Like, it felt like to me that I just don't know what the story is. I don't know what the morality of it is. I don't know what the point of it is, other than just like, here's a story of a guy who had it rough and then made it big or whatever. And that seems kind of hollow for how it's portraying itself. Because to me, it's like, this is a guy who's like, I didn't take him as being in danger. I was like, are they fucking this guy up right now by telling him he's in danger and hiding them from these guys? Because it seems like he's put himself in a little bit of danger to go out there, but he's honoring the victims of this great battle or whatever. And like, is this not? And then at the end of the story, he's also like, no, I'm going to still keep playing this because it's important to honor them. I was like, well, it was, but you then hid from them. So what was the danger exactly? I was just kind of unclear, other than like being out in a storm.
I think they
What
said
was
if he went one more time that he would die or something. Didn't they say that?
Yeah, but I don't know.
He was going to
why
die,
they
or
would
they were
want
going
them?
to possess him or something.
Yeah, they want him to perform like forever they want him to just like keep performing for them in the afterlife or whatever. They want to like take him.
Okay.
Yeah.
into
I guess
the
that makes sense. I just like, I
graveyard.
wasn't grasping what that was. It felt like, I don't know. It felt like I didn't feel menaced by the spirits. Like, really.
Well, he starts
okay.
to look so sick. Like,
Yeah, great.
it's almost
Yeah.
like they're sucking the life out of him night after night or something. I mean, they don't explicitly say that or anything of the sort, but he looks like he's gonna die eventually.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Yeah, I
just-
think there's
it's-
a heart lacking in this one. I think I don't even necessarily think there's a morality to it, which I think is difficult because the first two kind of set up like that, and the first two have a lot more emotional weight, I think. Whereas this one, I took it more as just like a
Anthropological.
ghost story. Well, there's like a ghost story,
Yeah.
and what's the morality tale of The Conjuring? Why does this girl get
Well,
possessed by a devil?
follow
Like, it
Jesus.
just
Always
it
be
kinda just-
Catholic. That's
it just kind of happens, So in this, I think it's just like this ghost story about how the ghosts can still walk among people and could still, harm them if they want to. And too, I think, even in the sense of, they grabbed their emperor and they committed suicide. I mean, I assume that that's still somewhat,
a true story.
creates this kind of like lore about
Yeah.
these potential like ghosts of, we say sometimes, we have lore about some traumatic event happens and that's why the spirit lingers on. It can't get past so I kind of took it as that kind of like ghost lore building or whatever. And so these people, they're stuck after this war where they lose and they have to commit suicide. They just want to hear the tale of it play out again and again and again. And they're able to kind of trick this blind guy because he is blind and he can't see that they're ghosts like maybe everybody else could, or maybe that's why they can contact him more easily or something like that. So I mean, it's got interesting pieces. The graveyard with the fucking fog hog, man, dude. They did
Let it rip.
They rolled that fog.
That fog was sweet though, because it was heavy.
It was
like
low-lying.
it flowed down. It was an interesting fog, the way that they created it, and it looked cool. And I agree with you, that battle scene at the beginning looks more interesting, but it wasn't as visually interesting as the second one, and it didn't have any emotional weight like 1 or 2 did. So I'm like, well, and it's kind of long. Like unnecessarily long.
It's crazy long. They should have trimmed it down for sure. I appreciate this one primarily from like a historical aspect because that like the battle that they lay out for you is a real battle. And there are, if you guys recall, they zoom in on the Heike crab, and it looks like it has a face on it. And they say it's like rumored that the crabs are, the ghost or the spirits of the samurai that died during that battle. And like, that's a real crab and that's like a real thing. So like, I dig all that stuff. And then this like ancient folk tale that like was born from that. I think it's just really interesting. There's probably something lost on us here. Cause like, I didn't know what the Heart Sutra was, but I looked it up. It's an Indian Buddhist text that states form is emptiness, emptiness is form, and it's the most frequently used and recited text in the entire Mahayana Buddhist tradition. So like, I don't really know what that means, but I'm sure it has some sort of, value here that maybe is just lost on us. So like, yeah, it doesn't like necessarily resonate emotionally, but I think the story is really interesting.
There's this little book, Bob, you need to read. It's called the Kama Sutra. So it's got some interesting.
All the answers you're looking for right there.
Some pretty exciting ideas.
You ever done it crab style?
It's just the lack. It's just the lack of the human element, like that really doesn't land for me in this one. It's length plus I have a hard time clinging to any particular emotion besides confusion with a lot of it. So I don't know. It loses points for that. This one was for sure the hardest slog for me.
Yeah, I will say when that dude's like ripping that dude's ears off and he's supposed to be quiet, that is brutal.
Yeah.
So some of the most like brutal, I guess, horror aspects of this ghost is coming to get you. You gotta stay quiet, and he's fucking ripping your ears off.
The idea of a ghost pirate samurai is so fucking badass, though.
That's pretty cool, and they look cool. They did
they
did the ghost well. Yeah.
Yes,
it's a cool idea that sounds like a bad tattoo.
Yeah,
Japanese.
There's
Japanese.
There's a lot to like about this, but if it was like 30 minutes shorter, it probably would have just been more enjoyable. Like,
it's too bad too, because even like Randy's background where and it's one that a lot of people use for this film because it's a striking visual of all the painting or all the words painted on his skin, and you got the big red ones and the tiny black ones, and it's like covering his whole body. Like there is a lot to like about this one. It just coming off the first two and then like being so long, I think it just hurts this one, unfortunately. It's too bad.
It's like it really like the confusion I had in the second segment is just compounded on itself here, and it's unfortunate. I agree.
Poor confused Randy.
We got one more.
Yeah, we got
one more to do.
One more. So the final vignette here is called In a Cup of Tea. And in that story, we meet a writer who is regaling us with one of his unfinished tales. It takes place on New Year's Eve. We see Lord Nakagawa Sadono. He stops off at a tea house with a host of his attendants. One of them is named Sekanai. Sekanai sees a strange face reflected in his cup of tea. There's nobody around him or above him, but no matter what he does, the face remains in his tea. He gets new tea, he gets a different cup, he walks around, but nothing gets rid of the face. He eventually just drinks the tea and thinks no more of it. Later, while guarding the Lord, Second Eye is visited by the man whose reflection was in his tea. They fight, and Second Eye warns the other samurai of an intruder, but nobody else saw the man but him. Later that night, Second Eye's resting at home, and he's visited by 3 spirits who say the mysterious man he fought earlier shall return and take his revenge. Second Eye then fights these 3 men, who move in very strange, unnatural ways, but Second Eye eventually bests them all. We then jump back to the writer telling the tale, who admits he could not write a satisfying ending, and he prefers to leave it up to the reader's imagination. The writer's publisher shows up at his house. He's there to pick up what he expects to be the finished work, but the writer's nowhere to be found. He and the writer's attendant search the house for him, and they're then horrified when they find that he is stuck inside a large pot of tea, and they run out of the house.
It's like something that came out of a nightmare movie.
It is.
I like this one, except I wish they had just left that ending where the guy looks into the pot horrified and runs off. And didn't show the old man in the pot.
I kind of love the visual of the old man.
Oh, really? Okay, well,
really
I'm glad
did.
you liked it. I wanted to because that's his whole point of like, I want to leave it up to the mind of the reader. Yeah. And so for them to, like, the guy looks at it, but the reader, the viewer can't see it, and you have to create it in your mind. I was like, man, that's like kind of sets that up perfectly right there. Why'd you do that?
That's a fair point. Like, narratively, that does make sense, but I really love that as a visual. It just looked very, very uncanny to me. Like, I don't know, the way that they like when you saw like the first guy in the reflection, it seemed like fucking
he's kind of cheesy.
It was not a very strong effect.
He's like, hey guy.
That dude looks like a fucking cooter, and we will get to that.
Hey guy.
But it's like, hey, it's just like this smug little like side eyes thing going on. But the old man in the tea is like, it's haunting. It's genuinely like, because he looks miserable. He looks like he's kind of grasping up towards you a little bit. Like, it's very eerie to me. So I love that they got that visual.
Excuse me, ma'am, but there's an old man in my tea. Can I get a new cup?
I asked for no old man.
I got the sexy young woman tea.
Can I get that?
It seems like I got the old man tea.
Didn't order that.
There she is.
This short.
That's me getting my correct tea. There she is.
This story, like when Lafcadio Hearn was translating this story to English, there was no like ending that would translate that would make any sort of sense to an English reader, so he just kind of left it unfinished. So I don't know if like the actual ending is known, but the director Kobayashi sort of took it upon himself to put a sort of ending on this, which is where the publisher looks down and sees the old man stuck in the vat or whatever, but it really did just kind of end in the writing. So there's I guess, that's a relatively satisfying way to end this story. It is probably my least favorite of the 4 because it's a little short and it's, not totally finished. It runs a little thin, I think. And who the hell knows what the moral of this one is, or if it's even supposed to have one. Like the idea of, like, I don't know if that was like the dude's soul, like, was that a ghost in his tea? Did he drink a ghost or like a spirit or a soul or like, I don't know. And then the dude haunts him for life or whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I just like the aspect of like fighting the ghost, like, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I just kind of liked the aspect of it of, and then even because they're like, you wounded him. And I was like, he did, and he's going to come back and get you or whatever. It kind of reminded me of that. What's that movie we saw with Patel, and it's the green guy, the green goblin ghost, or the Green Knight.
I haven't seen it, but I assume.
It just kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Like, there's the spirit, and you have, disturbed them. They're gonna seek this. It's like this curse on you or something. So it's just kind of cool. But I was like, man, if you stuck that in like a little bit, But I see your point though too, Randy. It was like kind of haunting to like leave on that note or whatever. But at the same time, I was like, I want that.
It's so interesting. We're all taking this, like, I'm taking this pretty differently from both of you. This one, like, I do agree that it's one of the weaker entries in this anthology, but I think it might be better than Hoichi to me strictly because it like opens up with setting the expectation that you're not going to get an ending and saying like, who knows why? These are things that happen with historical tales. Sometimes you don't get an ending and we'll never know why. And then to have it sort of like cap in this like sort of twist on the tale, I don't know. It gave me something that I could understand about it, even if I didn't understand like the characters within it necessarily. So that's what I was kind of lacking from Hoichi, where I was just really kind of like taking hard guesses at what the impulse or what the motivations of each of these characters was supposed to be. I had a hard time with that. I had a little bit of a hard time with that with the Snow Woman. This one, I didn't need that because it was setting me up for just like, here's just something. It's like finding an unfinished tablet, like, you know what I mean, like, and trying to, or an unfinished.
We've all been there,
right? Like, it's like this. It just feels like a discovery, and discoveries aren't always conclusive. You know what I mean? There's something about that I liked, and then also it played with your expectations from a film perspective, and it did give you an ending. It just was not the one necessarily that it promised. It built on that. So I kind of like that about it.
It's very meta. It's like
it is.
Yeah, it is.
Actually, yeah. I like that aspect because, you know, as you're going to get into trivia, Bob, it does kind of like give some insight into how this movie was ultimately, or like the source material of this movie, and that aspect of it, of being like, people have told these stories. Could they write, or could they even write in the way that we write now, or like use the same language that we do now in a kind of way, and interpreting it and trying to put in some context of like, you know, what was the local lore? What were people talking about? Was there any kind of like social thing going on here, you know, and like kind of piecing that together? And I did find that like aspect quite interesting as well, to be like, yeah, maybe there isn't some ending. Or I find it even like super interesting that there's this ending that like, you're like, if you understand the language, you're like, okay, yeah, I get it, but there's no absolute way. Like, it's interesting. There are like Korean words that like you'll learn, but like they have no translation, like and you really just have to learn the context about how they're used and have somebody try to explain to you the general idea about what the word is, but there is no real word, and you're just like, that's fucking wild. It's like seeing a new color like for the first time and be like, and then trying to tell somebody about it, and you're like, well, fuck, I mean, I don't know, it's just you know. So that's a really interesting aspect about being exposed to another culture's stories that's in their language, and it's an older language, and it's like an interesting idea.
It's like trying to explain
really
a cooter to somebody in Korea.
What we do every week. It's kind of
every
like
week
what
we
do
successfully do that, Rob. Nobody would argue.
We're anthropologists, okay?
We are anthropologists of words we made up. But yeah, I like, just to cap this one off, for me, this one, like, I really think that what we get is, it feels more like a personal statement from the filmmaker than the rest of it does. The rest of it feels like, or at least I took it as like a faithful interpretation of folk tales that as they were written, as they were spoken, as they existed before this movie was ever dreamed up. But the last one felt like the filmmaker getting his say. So I like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, kind of the period on the end of this sentence is sort of his flavor, his take. Like,
he's adding. He's like stories do. The storyteller gets to add something, and he was very selective with how he added things. And I just really like the way he did it.
Yeah, that sort of makes perfect sense, like in context of a folk tale, like something that is told and handed down by way of mouth for, you know, centuries. Like, that is, you know, it's just his little spin, his little ending on it. I like that. Yeah, it makes me like it a little more now, thinking about it like that, actually.
Wow, I'm glad we could add some insight.
Oh, you guys are so insightful. Love it. Cool. Anything else you guys want to hit on before we rate Kwaidan?
I think I'm good.
I just wish there was more merchandise for this. I just feel like
Wish they
it's
had done a
big
couple
opportunity.
sequels. I mean, there's got to be a lot more
cup holder.
A cool,
Japanese folk tales out
Kwaidan
there.
cup holder.
That's all.
Can I get like a Ghost Yabos pencil sharpener or something?
Where's the Kwaidan popcorn bucket for me to buy from?
That's really what we need.
Kwaidan.
The Kwaidan? Where's my Kwaidan popcorn bucket?
Where's that Kwaidan popcorn
Kwaidan?
bucket?
Oh man, they were my favorite band back in high school.
4X large Kwaidan bucket.
I want to get that
butter.
Kwaidan T-shirt. That's my favorite high school band, buddy. Let's go.
Kwaidan. Let's rate this out of 5.
Kwaidan.
Rand Diesel, why don't you blaze the trail? How do you feel about Kwaidan?
Well, I think this conversation definitely elevated my opinion in general. I had a hard time with this. Like I said, I was coming into it really cold on understanding what it was supposed to be, and also what to expect in general, and also just physical preparedness. I just did not have a time where I was not going to be fucking dog ass fucking tired last week, and it looks like
Dog
that's going to
shit
continue.
fucking exhausted.
It was so I was so tired that I was very aggressive about it. I don't know. I feel like
Based on
some of the confusion,
too, I could just imagine in that situation.
Dude, Beck gives me so much shit for drifting off during movies or whatever, but they fall asleep every fucking thing we watch. I swear to Christ. So,
this is understandable though. It would be easy to fall asleep.
It's
from this.
I mean, I took this movie in 3 sittings, so I think that's reasonable enough for a 3-hour movie. But yeah, I don't know. It's. I was trying to meet the movie where it was. I was trying to be understanding to the idea that I'm not going to understand the cultural significance of a lot of things that's going on here, and I'm just going to have to roll with the punches. And some of that stuff, it made for hard watching for me. So, getting to talk through some of it and getting a little more cultural context from what you guys have known about it or whatever, that is nice. And I think overall, the thing that's going to stick with me about this movie more than anything else is going to be the visuals. The visuals are what make this movie, it's responsible for 2/3 of the points I'm going to give it. I think it's just so strong, so interesting to look at. For being of its time, it stands out from the pack of what was being made at the time, to me anyway. And it's surreal, and it's beautiful, and it's every shot feels like a painting. It's very, very, very good in that regard. The audio is something to get used to, but it's its own thing. It's so unique. I don't know of another movie that does any treats audio this way. And yeah, I liked getting to know some of these folk tales, even if I didn't fully understand some of them, or even if a lot of the things escaped me. But they did escape me, and it made it hard for me to emotionally resonate with some of the stuff that I was seeing. So all of that said, I think I'm going to give it a 3.75. So it's, I think, just shy of a 4 for me. So much of that is due to the aesthetic of this and how it was made. And a lot of the deficiencies, admittedly, could come from me. I just don't know a ton about this culture. I don't know a ton about the stories being told or the significance of certain things. And I think that it feels like a learning experience more than it felt like an emotional ride to me. So I think that's a lesser experience for me personally. And it was elevated by the aesthetic primarily. So yeah, 3.75 for me.
All right. Deficient Randy coming in with a 3.75. Juice, how do you feel?
Everyone calls me that.
Yeah, I like this movie pretty good, and watching it this time, I was prepared, and that's why in my recommendation, I was I just watched it in 4 different pieces because it's easy to do so. There's no wraparound, and there's no ties between them, so I just took them as these 4 separate pieces, and it was easy to do that in that case, with the third one being the roughest because it is pretty much its own full-length movie. But yeah, so I liked them. Number 1 was my favorite, then number 2, then number 4, then number 3. But I think they all have some interesting positive aspects to them. I would also be fine watching the first 2, and having watched it before, the first 2 were the ones that stuck in my mind. I kind of forgot the second two, like what they were about or any aspects. But the first two, like I always remembered that, you know, the rug pull of the woman being dead. And then I always remembered the beautiful like backdrop paintings and generally like that ghost taken off at the end of the second one. So those things have like stuck around to me and things I'll like think about randomly. So I have that extra added bonus to being like, I know I think about this film. I know it has left me with something in my mind several years later. So yeah, I really liked the cultural aspect of this. The story that Bob's going to tell a little bit more in trivia is like super interesting, and it is cool to like experience these like ghost stories. It's fascinating that every culture has these different kind of ghost stories, and some things are very unique about it, and then some things are also very universal about them, which is fascinating as well. And it's very beautiful, and I think I just like the ones that have a little bit more heart to them, and just kind of hit you a little bit harder than it feels. But yeah, overall this is a pretty badass movie and interesting cultural piece. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Plus, you know, I'm giving half star for those Yabos. And number 2, you know, there's just some good Yabos too.
Oh,
so
those decaying ghostly Yabos.
no, in the second one, Randy, they were good. So
They
that's
were good.
You know what? You know what? High school Soju would have said about that. Ruined, boys. Ruined.
I did. That's still something that kind of bugs with me these days. Time gets us all, you know.
Fucking
Gets us all. Yep.
I know. I just want beauty to live forever. I just want to be a vampire, bro. Is that so much? So yeah, I'm 4.5 for me. Bob, out of 5.
This rating this movie feels like almost silly to me. I'm gonna do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna do it.
Whoa, Bob. Whoa.
It feels like this feels like an artifact, and like it's almost on the level of like let's
Rate the Bible as a book.
or like some hieroglyphs or
This thing's kind of meandering. I don't know. It's really contradictory.
this like illuminated manuscript is bullshit, dog. You like rate like you know
These fucking Egyptian hieroglyphs, they're not even facing the right direction.
yeah,
bro. What the
it
fuck?
kind of feels like
Snakeheads,
that.
get out of here.
It feels kind of like that. But anyways, I really like this for what it is. I think knowing a little bit of the history behind it definitely enhances my enjoyment of it. Just getting a glimpse of like how other cultures, pass along stories about the afterlife and the losing a loved one or ghosts and demons or possessions, hauntings, like all that stuff. Like it's just interesting that like all these cultures talk about the same kind of thing just in slightly different ways. Like the aesthetics are different, like the context is slightly different, but it's all like trying to get at the same things, like what happens when we die, so yeah, I just really, really like the stories here. I really, really like the aesthetics. Like we mentioned, the third story goes on a little too long, and the fourth one is like maybe not the most satisfying when it wraps up and concludes. The first two are very strong though. So like as taking this in as just a film, it is a little long and can be a little dry in certain places, but overall I think it's a very satisfying watch. That I'd overall have little to complain about. So I'm going to come in with a 4.25 on this here. And that's going to put our aggregate at a 4.2 for Kwaidan. There you go. There.
All right. Well, great.
Yes. We get to be cultured swine this week.
Just this
week.
Emphasis on the swine.
Let's jump into a Rotten Tomato segment and see what the critics and users have to say.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to have these gentlemen guess within the best of their abilities what the aggregate positive score is on RottenTomatoes.com for Kwaidan. This is going to have a critics score
Randy.
called the Tomatometer and
my
a
nickname
popcorn
in high
meter
school.
or the poopometer. What?
Kedong?
Oh yeah, because of all the weird ridges in your dong, right? There's the popcorn meter or the poopometer for the users as well.
pleasure,
Starting with the
Bob.
critics. He still hasn't
Notched for her pleasure.
Oh,
Let's carry on. Let's get out of this.
I don't love where this is going.
No.
There are 46 critic reviews counted here. Just 46, guys. So starting with Bob today. Bob, what percentage of those 46 reviews would you wager are positive reviews from the critics?
This has got to be a critical darling, I would think. Foreign film loaded with history and like based on ancient folklore, and it's got that sweet Criterion release. Like this is going to be pretty high, I think, like in the 90s. I'll take a 96, I think.
Ooh, she's a fancy flapjack.
96 for Bob. Soju, where are you coming in on this one?
Oh yeah, this is gonna be high to the moon, as they say, higher than the QCHE coins, boys.
I doubt it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be high, but I guess I'll play it safe and take the under, and also give a potential for a tie and say 94.
All right, 94, 96. Those are our numbers. Well, one of you is 3 percentage points away from glory here. Just the 3.
I don't know which one I
And-
could be still, honestly.
Who could it be? Who could it be? Let's draw it out a little longer until we find out. The correct percentage is 91%. Soju's going to walk away with this one. It is certified fresh.
Woo!
Congrats, Soju.
Fresh.
All right, there you go. There is
How do you say hell yeah in Japanese, boys?
Oh, you don't know?
Go something like that.
You just say that. You
say that while your biwa gently weeps.
I'm only 80% fluent in Japanese, but I was still got another 20%.
Wow.
Critics' consensus reads as follows. Exquisitely designed and fastidiously ornate, Masaki Kobayashi's ambitious anthology operates less as a frightening example of horror and more as a meditative tribute to Japanese folklore. I don't think that's terribly incorrect. I think that sounds about right.
Yeah.
It definitely, that is one thing I didn't qualify at the beginning that I should have. It's like, yeah, if you're looking for like a firm horror movie, like it's
Not
definitely
hard,
like they're horror tales. Huh?
Not hard, but firm.
I want a firm horror, you know?
I don't like soft ass shit.
Yeah. So it's not quite. It's not going to thrill, but they are horror tales.
It might titillate.
Say that again, slower.
Titillate.
Thank you very much.
You're
I'm gonna
welcome.
Put that in the bank. All right. Let's move on to the popcorn meter here and see what the users think of this film. 5,000 plus ratings. So significant jump in the numbers here. We're going to go in reverse order. Soju, out of those 5,000 plus ratings, what percentage would you say are positive?
This is going to dip a scotch, but still probably going to be pretty high. So I'm going to take The Boys 86.
Oh, okay. 86. I still haven't made that bump, but yeah.
I know. I don't know about, I don't know if they've got any good little sound bombs, but
There's
I'll
no
have to
figure
find.
one.
Gonna have
All
to
right,
listen
Bob.
to their whole discography now.
Find the
Just
best one.
find
Well, you're
it.
gonna have to sign a contract to be on another podcast about the Project 86 catalog.
Oh boy, that'd be
Podcast 86. Starting
All
it
in
next
there.
week.
Oh my god.
Me and Nicole.
Have you heard of our podcast?
You do that one. I'll do 5 Iron Frenzy or some shit. All right. Yeah, you said 86. Bob, how about you?
Yeah, it's going to be lower than the critics for sure, but not real low. I'm in a bit of a pickle here. It's pretty long. I could see some impatient people getting on here saying, this is bullshit. I guess I'll take the under, potential to tie, 84, please.
84. So interesting. 96-94 and then 86-84. You guys are thinking 10 points off in both directions. Let's see. 4 percentage point difference here between this correct answer and the best answer given. So no tie, I'm sorry to say today. The correct answer is 90%. So, Jew, walk away with your prize.
That's a elite sweep.
And honestly, like remarkably similar to the critics. 91-90. I was shocked.
Wow.
I think
Pinkies out, boys.
Down.
Yeah, you know it, buddy. Yeah. So congrats to Soju on
Which is
walking
right
away
where
with your
Soju was at,
seats or
4.5, 90%. Right there with everyone.
The critics were like, the opposite.
Way to be part of the crowd. All right, let's see what some negative reviews have to say. Maybe they're funny. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're angering. We'll find out. It is more like a picture on a wall than something that should move on a screen. The director seems never to know when to have done with a scene and be on to another sequence. What?
Nailed
The director
it.
never seems to know when to have done with a scene and be on to another sequence. Buddy,
I don't
know if anybody
done with this scene and move on to another.
I think maybe you should get a command of the English language before criticizing this. Yeah, let's read one more. The first episode builds an effective mood through its elliptical action and long, slow tracks through empty rooms, but this 1965 film soon levels off into academic stylization. I don't know what that means.
Sounds like they like the first one too.
Yeah, I mean,
the first one's a heater.
But what is academic stylization? What does that?
I don't
mean?
know. But it sounds like bullshit.
Sounds a lot like
I call bullshit on that.
Bullshit. Derivative.
Bullshit, as they say.
French toast.
Okay. Yeah, that's also a movie quote.
Hey guys, I like movies too, right?
Ooh, let's read one more because this one's really hilarious. All show and nobody home. That's all it says. All show and nobody home. Is that a fucking? I feel like that's a failed haiku. I don't understand.
Oh my god.
Love it.
The rice
anybody
is
can just
cooking
string
and
words
no
together.
spice. Just right.
All beef, no taco. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of.
All right, that's it for Rotten Tomatoes, Bob. I heard you got some good trivia on your hands there. What you got?
Doesn't
You ready?
apply. Yeah, let's do some trivia.
It's totally time for trivia.
Unless we're talking about Bob's sex life, all beef and no taco.
Yeah. That's what happens when you got a key dong.
I live the beef life.
Where's the beef?
Keydong Bob. This film is based on stories from Lafcadio Hearn's collection of Japanese folktales, mainly from a book that he wrote called Kwaidan, Stories and Studies of Strange Things, that came out in 1904, which obviously this movie gets its name from that. So The Black Hair is adapted from a short that he wrote called The Reconciliation, as well as another one called The Corpse Rider. So two of these shorts came from the book Kwaidan. The other two came from two of his other books. So The Black Hair, the shorts that those were based on, came from a book called The Shadowings that came out in 1900. The Woman of the Snow, that was in Kwaidan. Hoichi the Earless was also from Kwaidan. And In a Cup of Tea, that came from another book he wrote called Koto Being Japanese Curios with Sundry Cobwebs, that came out in 1902. Yeah, I know.
A long title.
It's a mouthful right there. So, your boy Patrick Lafcadio Hearn, interesting dude. So, he was born June 27th, 1850 in Ireland. Actually, no, sorry. He was born in Greece, grew up in Ireland, and then he made his way to the States. So he lived in Cincinnati, I think. Yeah, he lived in Cincinnati. He was a journalist in Cincinnati for quite some time, and then he moved down to New Orleans, and he lived in New Orleans for 10 years. Was also a journalist down there. I don't
want to have a drink with this guy.
Right? Seriously. He was sort of his writings on New Orleans are also very well known. He kind of focused on like the seedy underbelly and like shady dealings on the streets, as well as like the crooked politics and whatnot. After that, he moved over to Japan and just kind of fell in love with the culture and decided to stay there. He took on a Japanese name, which was Yakumo Koizuma, and he married a Japanese woman. I think they had 3 kids together, and then he started becoming just very interested in these folklore, Japanese folklore, and started writing all these books. And he's largely the reason that the West became familiar with Japanese culture back in the early 1900s, because before then we just really apparently didn't know shit. Offered unprecedented insight into the Japanese culture, specifically his legends and ghost stories. So yeah, he's a Japanese citizen. His home in Orleans Parish is listed under the National Register of Historic Places, and the Lafcadio Hearn Memorial Museum is located in Japan. So,
damn, what a life.
Super interesting, dude.
I know.
Yeah.
He got himself a Japanese wife. Way to go, buddy.
I knew. Makes me were gonna.
Way to win in life.
Everything else is bullshit. But that right there, let me tell you. Way to win.
Can't be all bad. He married Japanese.
So
this is an interesting fucking dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
damn,
I wish I could accomplish one of those things.
Moving to Cincinnati.
That's the big one.
That's
the golden ring.
one of these days, boys. Cincinnati Randy. This film won the Special Jury Prize at the 1965 Cannes Film Festival and received an Academy Award nomination for Best Foreign Language Film. The movie exhausted its budget 3/4 of the way into production, which led to Kobayashi selling his house so he could finish the movie, which sucks.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, seems like it paid off, thank God.
I don't think this movie made a lot of money, actually. I mean, it's very critically acclaimed, but I don't think it made a ton of money. So hopefully he got his house back.
Hasn't he made like hundreds of films or something?
Yeah, I think so. I think he had.
He was a
yeah.
big kung fu dude, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'd have to.
Kung fu is.
Or like, I don't know. I feel like I heard that somewhere, but I could be wrong.
You guys can pull up his IMDb if you want while I keep reading. I don't know. I know he's made a lot of other stuff for sure. The 4 vignettes were chosen to represent the 4 seasons throughout the year, apparently. I don't know exactly what was what. Winter seems to be fairly obvious.
Okay, so winter.
The first one kind of felt like fall, but I don't know, like with all the foliage kind of decaying around the house.
The T one kind of felt like spring.
Could be, yeah. And yeah, the Hoichi could be summer. I guess it kind of had a summer vibe.
Yeah.
They were outside
maybe.
a lot.
The only clear one's winter, yeah.
Yeah, winter, yeah. The word Kwaidan can be translated into English to roughly mean spooky tale or ghost story, or like uncanny tales told relayed verbally. I already told you all about the crabs and the Heart Sutra, and that's really all I got for trivia on this one. Rainey, did you see? Did Kobayashi make a whole bunch of other stuff?
He did make other things. Apparently, he's best known for something called a trilogy called the Human Condition trilogy. That's and samurai films. That's what I was thinking of. Samurai films, Harakiri and Samurai Rebellion, and then Kwaidan. So those are the most famous ones. A couple of samurai films, and then I don't know what the Human Condition is about. It's an epic trilogy. It says epic war drama films, I guess. So there you go. He's pretty pretty varied, actually. I thought it was more centered on samurai, and this was like his sort of like, I don't know, his passion project or something, but seems like there was a lot more to it. Actually, Human Condition looks like it's a Criterion as well.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right, I just bought Bob just mentally purchased a Blu-ray.
You said it's a trilogy?
3 films, you said.
3, yeah. 3 in 1 for the price of 3.
Look that up.
Oh, Bob.
Am I going to buy it right
of
now?
3.
Right here?
Are we going to get a live purchase on? I don't think
Oh
we've ever
my
done that
God.
right here on
Where did
Stretch.
Bob go wrong? Were he and his friends sifting way too long through those Blu-ray bins? And it gets worse, he'll have no jet ski, wasting all his dough on those DVDs.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna buy it right now. But hey, that's all I got for trivia. Let's talk Cooter of the week.
Straight chillin'.
Cooter of the week!
Juice, what is a Cooter and why do we hunt them?
Cooter's a character type in a straight chillin' exclusive.
Snoop Dogg just walked in the door.
Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Boys, do we have a Cooter this week? I think we
I
got
don't know.
at least one.
There's a few people that I think of. Like the first one I think of is the man in the T. The first man in the T.
Okay.
But like I don't have a lot of evidence for that. It's just
Smug
like on site.
arrogance.
Yeah, it's just the arrogant ass side eye that he gives is, buddy, that's a look.
Yeah.
but
I
I
was
don't know if I
actually
have
going to
much of
go with the main guy from the first story.
I thought about him too. Yeah. I mean, he transgresses and pays for his transgressions, but like, yeah, it's all that glitters is not gold story. He rejects his wife, basically subjects her to dying of poverty.
Yeah. Well, is it sexual deviancy to marry somebody for their money, for prestige?
Depends on who you ask.
Maybe-
In America, no.
Maybe like more manipulation than anything. I think.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
Yeah, manipulates. Yeah, the contract, the situation, overall patheticness, maybe.
I think it's pretty fucking pathetic.
And then smug arrogance. He seems pretty humbled by the situation, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. By the end of it, yeah.
Like he's living in regret the
Yeah.
whole time. Ooh.
tough one.
Yeah. Let's see. The third one. No,
I don't think there's much in the third one. I think maybe
Fourth one?
the lead of the fourth one. He struck me as like, this is something we didn't really cover, but like that lead in like in the story within the story, like the main story with the
guy who
tea
drinks
guys
the
and all that
tea.
stuff. Yeah, that guy, like, it seems like within his guild or whatever, he is kind of a slacker, or like people, like he's not respectful. He's kind of disrespectful to the thing. Like there's a few points where he's like, he just kind of walks away and people are like, what the fuck? Like looking back at him and stuff. And he shows up and like makes a fool of himself by saying, oh, there's a guy, he's around here somewhere. There's an intruder, and there's no intruder. Like, I don't know. People, it seems like he's kind of a dipshit in the guild. So maybe
He's fucked
pathetic
up on that tea,
front.
dog.
I guess so.
Yeah. Pathetic, maybe.
I don't know.
But he
he's-
whoops some ghost ass.
I'll say he's pretty good with that sword, man.
Yeah, he's whooping ass.
I mean, he better
He
be.
fights off 3 ghosts at one time.
Yeah.
Randy. Okay. Stick it to me, Bob.
Oh, okay.
I thought there was going to be one Cooter this week, but maybe there's not.
Yeah, it might be Cooter free.
Cooter free since
65.
1964.
63.
Okay, we're all over the map.
Sure,
with the
what-
date here.
Sure. Yeah,
Cool.
I don't think so. No Cooter this week. Nice.
All right.
Boys, let's talk about what else we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Rand Diesel, you been watching anything you stayed awake for?
Yeah, a couple things. Well, this is the other thing, is that my free time I have had, I've been dedicating to Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is so fun. And I'm having a good time with that. There were only a couple of other things that I did watch. I watched a couple episodes of the new second season of Poker Face, the what is that? Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah.
Natasha Lyonne, detective show, serial drama, comedy sort of thing. I like that show quite a lot. I like that it's like even more so this season. It's just like an episode at a time, not a big ongoing story, just letting it be, one story at a time, one incident at a time. And I just got to the episode set in Florida where she's walking out of a Publix at the beginning of the episode. I'm like, yep, they did the research on that one.
She get that pub sub.
I didn't notice that she had a pub sub, but I'm going to say in my head canon, yes, she did.
Oh yeah.
So there is that, and then I revisited one of my favorite comedies of the 2000s, Walk Hard, with my in-laws in town, because my father-in-law is big into music, and I thought he would get a kick out of it. We enjoyed it, even hanging dong and all. It was a lot of fun. I did. It was no key dong though. Don't get it twisted. And then the last thing is probably the best thing that I got to watch this week. Well, most bittersweet maybe, was the final farewell show of one of my favorite power pop punk bands, Bad Moves, here in DC. So they have amicably split ways as their lives have taken all kinds of different directions. And it was a really, really nice show with the full band, and Beck and I were right up front enjoying ourselves. And also, they had some pretty badass openers who I had not heard before, so I was pretty pleased. That's not always the case. Sometimes you kind of muscle down the first couple bands, and then you get to the one you like. This was not the case. Every band was pretty good. So, farewell to the Bad Moves, and that's it for me.
Cool. Juice, what you been watching?
I am almost done with season 1 of Penny Dreadful, and it's been awesome to revisit that, and I can't wait to talk about it as part of our spooky season mini cast this upcoming year. It's upcoming Halloween season, boys, coming soon.
Hey-o.
And the only other thing I've been watching, since those episodes are pretty long, is another Korean reality show to practice my Korean. In English, it's called Better Late Than Single, but in Korean, it's a little more insulting. So in Korean, there's this expression "mote solo," and it means like eternal solo, which is pretty much somebody who's like never had a boyfriend or girlfriend before.
An incel? Korean incel?
Kind of. So it's a bunch.
Now we're talking.
Randy.
Randy's excited.
That full
I
mast.
just perked up.
But it's a bunch of mostly 26 to 28-year-old Koreans, men and women who have never been in a relationship before. And they're all super awkward, and they have this dating show based on it. And there's probably 5 or 6 men, 5 or 6 women, and then one of the dudes is 31. So it's it can be quite awkward and ridiculous at times, but it's a good way for me to practice my Korean. So I've been watching that. It's pretty, oh man, that's rough sometimes though. Oof. They got little coaches before they go in that try to help them out and stuff, but oh man, it's a little hard to watch times, but that's all I've been watching.
Hootie tootie disco kitty.
Oh, hey.
Disco cuties. Bob, what you been watching, my guy?
Few things. We blasted through Stranger Things season 4. So we, finished off 3, just went right into 4, and it's,
Whoa.
probably my least favorite season, but it's got some really good moments. Some good moments in there.
When is that season 5 coming out? When is that supposed to come out?
They
November.
just did another trailer not long ago, right?
November? They're not releasing it for Halloween?
No, apparently not. Well, it's broken up into 3. I forget the dates. It's like it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's or something like that. It's like 3 different dumps. So anyway,
I don't understand.
Yeah, just wait and drop it all at the same time. Stranger Things 4, not bad, but still probably my least favorite. Speaking of other things on Netflix that I watched Happy Gilmore 2. Horrible.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Just
you know what?
Barely.
I have heard the opposite from people.
I hated
it. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like I had to break it up into 2 sittings. It's like an hour and 45, an hour and 50 minutes long. I'm taking a guess here, but like 50 cameos maybe? Like
holy God.
Lord only knows what the budget for this thing was, man, because it felt huge. Like, none of it was funny to me. None of it. God. It was just fucking a chore to watch. The movie sucks.
Oh, boy.
So much.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
God damn.
Is it in theaters? Or
no, it's
what?
just on Netflix.
Oh, Netflix.
Just on Netflix.
Jesus.
I have absolutely no. I was never the biggest Happy Gilmore.
I really liked Happy Gilmore when I was young.
I mean, it's it's not
the
like
adjacency to my life is undeniable because everybody I know quoted it ad nauseum. It was just like it was one of those things that was like it was like Napoleon Dynamite and all that shit, where it just was like ad nauseum, always quoted by somebody in the room, annoyingly so.
I feel like
it just never grabbed me. I was a Billy Madison kid. If I was going to Adam Sandler, I was going to Billy Madison. Sillier.
Big Daddy too.
Yeah.
Big Daddy, yeah. I like Big Daddy.
This movie feels like it's a string of cameos with like memeable moments. Is what it doesn't feel like a movie. It doesn't even feel like a movie to me. Hated it. Don't watch it. I watched a new season of South Park came out, and I watched the first episode of that and found that to be extremely funny. So,
damn, what season is that now?
I think it's 27.
God, I would have guessed more than that, honestly.
I think something like that.
Damn.
They're going for the fucking Simpsons gold, man. Simpsons is going on 800 episode 800.
What's season?
That's
like season 36 or something, I think.
So fucking insane.
That's nuts. Last thing I watched the first episode of that show that came out probably like 2 years ago now, The Curse.
36.
Oh, I'm
blanking on his name, the comedian that does all the crazy shit.
Fielder.
The rehearsal. Nathan Fielder. Yeah. And Emma Stone. I don't know. I mean, I watched the first episode, so I don't really know exactly where the show is going.
God, I want to watch that.
But they are a married couple, and they're doing a television show is being made about them, sort of trying to help a low income community that it's I forget, somewhere in California. I forget. They say exactly where, but I forget. And they're like flipping these houses and like trying to aid people with their rent and like seemingly doing nice things, but then like the gentrification obviously comes with like all these other problems, and these people are going to be displaced, and like they're like making this sort of like HGTV show about them doing all these really good things, and they're trying to like tamp down the potential bad side effects of it. And it's already very weird, even in just the first episode. So I don't know. I've heard the show goes to crazy places, and I'm curious.
I'm dying. I've been wanting to see that since it came out. Like, where's it streaming?
Paramount Plus.
Ugh. Okay.
Yeah. That's why it took me so long to watch it. So yeah, interested to see where that goes. Very strange and awkward show so far. That's all I've been watching. That's it. We do have one voicemail this week, so let's go ahead and jump over to our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you guys are listening and would like to call and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We got one voicemail we're hearing from Joel. What's he got to say?
Yo, what's up, Justin? And everyone else, just calling, letting you all know that I've been listening to the podcast like every day since I've been working. So I wanted to, I haven't watched y'all's video yet, or podcast on the Talk to Me movie. I wanted to know how y'all felt about that. It was like such a weird movie, but I kind of liked it. And also, Hereditary, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what you guys thought about Hereditary, but like everyone tells me it's like super scary, but it's like real. Like to me, it really wasn't. Like it had a cool story, but it was not scary at all. Like I don't know how y'all felt about that. But love you, Justin. I need to come see you in Korea. Hope you guys are doing good, and I love the podcast, guys.
Whoa, that's my brother.
La Familia.
Yeah.
And we're the others.
And the others. And everybody else.
Justin, you fucking kill it, bro. You fucking kill it.
I would say, you know what? Shouts outs to the fan, because quite a bit of my brothers listen to and support the podcast regularly and text me about it. So Joel's been listening, I guess. I know Austin listens quite often and chats me. He was texting me the other day about our Signs episode, which we did back in like March or April. And then he was watching The Ugly Stepsister, talk to me about that. And then my brother, Aiden too, he got me some horror stuff over Christmas time. And was talking to me about a podcast. So, whoa, big supporters of the cast.
Nice.
Your family could really just bankroll us, you know?
Yeah. If all of your family gave $1 a day, we would be flush.
We'd retire. Cool. Yeah.
Thanks, Joel.
Yeah. Thanks for calling. Thanks for listening. Glad you're enjoying at least Justin's portion of the show.
Yeah. It just skips every time anybody else speaks.
I don't blame you.
You should have all of your brothers call in. We'll never have a blank.
I know. Whoa. Yeah. We couldn't play them all. If people don't know,
that's our prompt this week.
Straight chilling lore is I have a large amount of siblings.
Yeah.
That's straight chilling lore. It's a weird way of putting that. I have a large family. It's part of the podcast.
But no, my family is huge. I have a lot of siblings.
I think that's our prompt. If you are related to Justin, call in and drop the tea. Let us know how many times he wets the bed and how frequently he's sleptwalk naked and all that shit. We want to know it all.
My phone is about to explode.
Tell us about all his transgressions.
Grations. It's been a long time since we talked about Hereditary. I think we talked about it as a theater watch, which would have been 2018, I want to say. I think that's when it came out. So that's an old episode. I don't know. Is Hereditary scary? I'm trying to think of now.
18.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah.
It's a really good movie, but is it scary?
I think the ending.
It's been a while since I watched it.
I think
the ending, the last like 30
moments.
minutes when everybody shows up at the house, right, and she ends up in the attic.
Yeah,
I think
really
I think it's definitely scary, but it's more dreadful, consistently dreadful than it is scary.
That's fair to say.
Yeah, it's more atmospheric. Yeah,
not a lot of jump scares or
because even the one from this year, from the Philippines, Bring Her Back was also in the same kind of way. It's like it's really intense, but is it scary?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
I don't know.
Scary.
What movie is scary? Yeah.
The thing is, like, the things that are like scary to me are the dreadful things. So to me, it's scary. But like, if you're like a lot of like what makes me jump are jump scares, and that's not. I don't necessarily consider jump scares scary. A lot of times they're not scary. They're just jarring. So
it depends on what frightens you. It's a little different for everybody, I guess.
Fucking Threads is scary as shit to me.
Threads is a great nap movie.
Dreadful.
And like, let me tell you, people on YouTube hate that I don't like that movie.
You don't like Threads?
They're correct.
Hate it, dude.
They
are
correct.
A lot of hate comments for Bob on
the
Threads.
The amount of shade is unreal. Like, fuck, Fuck. Sorry. I can't like everything.
What is a scary movie? What's that one where they're in the caves?
Podcast about horror.
I know. What I'm trying to think. Oh, what's that? The one where they're in the caves has a lot of good
The
tension
Descent.
and jump scares.
The
The
Descent.
Descent.
Sure.
That's probably a scary movie.
I think
right?
Insidious has some really good moments that get me. I don't know. There's like not.
I think Patrick Swayze's Ghost is pretty fucking terrifying.
That's one of the most horrific. I mean, being next to the one you love and not being able to touch them or protect them.
Having to listen to that Righteous Brothers song ad nauseum. God damn.
There's
Bob Ghost.
Even in The Ugly Stepsister, like the majority of that movie is not scary, but there's a couple scenes that like I couldn't watch.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just kind of depends if you're looking for something more atmospheric or like if you want something filled with jump scares or if like the gore frightens you. I don't know. It's different strokes for different folks. Call in and let us know what you're looking for. Maybe.
Yeah. What do you think? Like the most scariest, like recent horror movie, like within the past 10 years, like really scary. What do you think it is? Call in and let us know.
Yeah, that's a good prompt. Solid.
Hit us with it. Especially if you're related to Justin.
Only if you're related to me, I guess.
Only people in the Justin clan will be able to call in.
Late Night with the Devil, was that scary?
Not really.
I didn't think so, but I thought it was fucking fun. That's what I liked about it.
Yeah. Again, this is not like this is more like psychologically dreadful, but I saw the TV glow. Like there's some moments in there that are like hard to watch, but like I don't know if that's really gonna scare everybody.
When Evil Lurks, that was kind of scary.
That's like
When Evil Lurks,
a good baseline scary movie. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
that's
When
a good
Evil
one.
Lurks.
I thought Milk and Cereal was kind of scary. I thought Sinners wasn't scary, but it was fun and fucking good.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of fucking movies out there, and really, it's just what frightens you always.
Yeah, there's not a lot of like super scary movies. We're just going back over the past 5 years, and well, there you go.
I think there's like some stupid article that came out a couple years ago that everybody cites, and like the headline of it is like, science says Sinister is the scariest movie ever made.
I remember that, yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess that scares some people.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but...
What is the science of determining that?
I think they just like monitor people's heart rate.
My new name is Science, and whatever I say is what Science.
They call me Science, and I'm here to tell you what I say.
My boy Science, aka Soju, says
science stains.
I heard the jury's still out on Science.
Call in and let us know what's some really scary movies that came out over the past 10 years. 904-638-3231. What scared the shit out of you recently? That's it for us this week. We'll be back next week with a brand new show. As always, we're talking about another Patreon pick. This one was chosen by your boy Gabriel R. The movie is Chronicle from 2012.
Whoa.
Right.
It's going to be an interesting
That's
one.
a pull.
Yeah. Check it out. Slam it into your eyeballs.
Superheroes are coming back, boys, so the time is right.
Yeah, time to get on that superhero gravy train. Here comes Straight Chillin'.
Oh, we had a couple of movies that people didn't immediately pan out of the dozens that come out every year. We're back, baby.
We're back. Back in business. Chronicle. Here we go.
Chronicle 2012. Check it out. You're ready for next week's show. We're on all the social medias. Just search Straight Chilling Podcast and we'll pop right up. If you would like to join in the daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets and let us know. I'll send you a link so you can join in on the fun. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.